Hello and welcome to my astrology channel. I'm Mamta and I am a professional astrologer. I use the Western tropical zodiac and the whole signs for my readings. And this video is about the astrology for the week starting August 21st until August 27th. If there's one thing I would stress about this week, it would be to use caution and pay attention to details and all the fine print. If something appears to be too good to be true, it probably is. The most important theme of this week, like I mentioned, is to pay close attention to what shows up in your world and to thoroughly researching it before you commit. Especially with Mars opposing Neptune this week, which exposes you to people and events that may not appear to be as they are. Pay attention to all the fine print and details before signing any contracts. Mercury stationing retrograde in Virgo adds to this. Mercury is the messenger planet and it likes to move fast, but now is almost standing still in the sky to start its backwards journey. This can throw off all communication and everything Mercury rules. What this means for us is that we need to be extra careful and check in detail all the emails we send out, check our social media posts and DMs, our messages, our information, how we're talking, how we're understanding things and how we're doing things. Because there could be a discrepancy in what you're being told and what you're understanding. So please, please, please be extra careful in everything. If you have to, paraphrase what you're listening to. So repeat what you're being told, just so that you understand the details of what is being communicated to you. Check all your emails to make sure that they're being sent to the right parties. Check your social media posts, check your DMs. Mercury rules social media, so please check all your DMs. With Mars opposing Neptune, there could be offers that show up in your DMs that are not what they seem to be. They would seem too good to be true, like I mentioned, and they probably will be. Venus is also retrograde, so these could be related to money. These could be related to partnerships. This could be related to love. So again, just reiterating it, and it can't be said enough, be careful. On Monday, we begin the week under the energies of the new moon that we had in Leo on the 16th. The moon now is in Libra and is in its waxing phase. So what it means is that it's growing bigger, bringing inspiration and ideas to what we set intentions to manifest with the new moon that we just experienced on August the 16th. The ruler of Libra, Venus, is retrograde, like I said, and this can make us feel unsupported or bring a feeling of disharmony in relationships. The moon in Libra will have been opposing Chiron over the weekend, also retrograde, so it could feel like you're trying to balance this feeling of not being supported while you're trying to heal issues around self-confidence, so you may be second-guessing or doubting yourself. The moon here also crosses the south node and will square Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, where a transformation of an old rule or an old way of doing something is changing, and there are new rules and new processes that are being structured and put in place. With the moon crossing the south node, you may feel even more unsupported, or you may feel that something that was supporting you is now being taken away from you. That something that you were dependent on is now not there anymore. So let me give you an example. Say maybe you have a new boss that takes over in your office, or you could be the new boss implementing a different way of doing things. And this can be the challenge, as now you have to adjust to a whole different set of rules that may seem restricting. And you would be doubting yourself at this time, or not feel the confidence in yourself while you have been building this confidence. Later on, you also have the moon that enters Scorpio and it gets a trine from Pluto. So this may mean that now you are discussing or researching things, and things that were previously hidden could surface as you get to the bottom of what's changing and transforming. So maybe you're getting a better understanding of what is happening, and as you research more into it and you understand more of what's showing up. Tuesday has Venus retrograde in Leo, squaring off with Jupiter in Taurus. Jupiter's energy is to expand and explore. It rules our beliefs. Venus is what we value and is retrograde as well. Like I said, both of these planets are beneficial planets. In the Venus rule sign of Taurus, Jupiter is actually bringing an expansion of money, but it is also creating a challenge to Venus retrograde in Leo. But with Venus feeling being retrograde, there is this feeling of being unsupported, where you don't feel the support. You also feel a lack of not having enough, of not having any self-worth or self-value, which ultimately is going to be showing up in how you're expressing yourself. Coming back to the Jupiter placement in Taurus, Jupiter is in Venus's home, in Venus's rulership. Taurus is ruled by Venus. And Venus is bringing this lack of, this feeling of lack, of being unsupported. Taurus is the second house, the natural second house of the zodiac, ruling your money. So you would be feeling this lack of money. And Jupiter feels this lack. Jupiter expands and wants to explore. So that's its energy. It wants to expand what it touches, and at the same time, it wants to see what else is there. So with this lack, this feeling of lack, Jupiter is expanding this feeling of lack, and it is expanding this feeling of lack to know what more is there, what more can increase this lack, what else is there to increase this lack. So this is your opportunity actually to work on your mindset. And Jupiter, when it is not working in its optimum, when its shadow side is what is showing up, can be expressing itself from a place of overconfidence, from a place of being feeling greedy, of gluttony, of wanting more. So this is what you want to avoid at this time, is you don't want to be operating from a feeling of lack. You want to be operating from a feeling of abundance. You want to embody confidence, not overconfidence. You want to feel valued, because you would be feeling not valued. But you want to feel valued. You want to feel confident in your own abilities and in your own self-worth. Because we also have Mars that is opposite Neptune. So you're looking at this ideal picture that might be painted to you, but you're not understanding the wholeness of what is showing up. And that is why you need to make sure that you're looking at the fine print, because you could be taken for a ride. You could be taking, someone might be taking you for a ride. So you want to be careful here. The other thing that I wanted to talk about Mars in Virgo opposing Neptune in Pisces is that you could be acting against your own intuition, or there could be unknown forces, or you could find opposition from foreign lands or from people in isolated or secluded places. This could look like, say, giving an example, like asking for a promotion and all this confusion, and being opposed by a boss who sits in an isolated office, or applying for a job that you find is very lucrative, and you may find opposition from a hiring manager working in a secluded office. This transit, like I mentioned earlier, makes you vulnerable to fraud and fraudsters. So again, please be careful. Do not commit to anything before inspecting all the details. Mars is also impulsive energy and in a retrograde Mercury's home. So be impulsive. So be careful of impulsive actions. And then moving on to Wednesday, the Sun enters Virgo, and your priorities shift. On this day, Mercury stations retrograde as well. So please, again, cannot reiterate it enough, check all your communications. Also check your travel plans. Mercury is in charge of that as well. Check your computers, your cars, any technical gadgets. You have Mars over here as well. Mars rules machinery. So check all your machinery. Do not be impulsive. Do not take any knee-jerk, don't react impulsively or have knee-jerk reactions. Be very careful while working with your hands. Mercury rules your hands as well, and Mars could cause accidents, so please be careful. With Mercury stationing retrograde, it conjuncts Mars and Pallas Athena, so there can be a message or information that you get that you think is bringing a practical solution to a problem that needs immediate action. This trio is getting a trine from Jupiter, but he is feeling lack, being in a retrograde Venus's house. And like I mentioned, Jupiter's shadow side is overconfidence, gluttony, and greed, as well as Jupiter trying to bring laziness. And with this lack mindset, we don't want to be hasty in reacting to anything, especially if it involves money and matters of the heart. On Thursday, Mars trines Pluto in Capricorn, and this is when you start feeling that you need to take action to transform your life, to bring more efficiency. This is a good transit actually to declutter your space, analyze what is no longer working for you, and create efficiencies in your daily routines, or start like new health routines. The moon here is in Sagittarius, so this can make you very restless. Use up all this restless energy. Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius, is still in Venus's house, and feeling the lack of things and the feeling of not having enough can make you want more. So be careful of overspending to compensate the feeling of lack. Pluto is in Saturn's home, and Saturn is retrograde in Jupiter's home of Pisces. So there is this vicious circle that is all going around that comes back to the Venus retrograde in Leo. So it all boils down to how you are wanting to express yourself and your self-worth to be noticed in the world. Rolling over into Saturday, we have the moon entering Capricorn midday, and this is where we start feeling even more stuck and we feel things aren't moving fast enough for us. Saturn is also retrograde, and that is what Saturn does. It increases the feeling of being stuck. It increases the delay. It brings more restriction. And this energy carries over into Sunday, where the Sun in Virgo will be opposite Saturn, that is retrograde in Pisces. The Sun is in a retrograde Mercury's home. So there can be a misunderstanding, miscommunication from the past with an authority figure that is opposite the restrictions that may be occurring, where things seem more unclear or they seem unclear. On this day, Mars enters Libra as well, and Mars is in his fall here, so loses all his aggressiveness and determination. Venus rules Libra, like I mentioned, and is retrograde, adding to Mars losing its aggression. Your actions are also not feeling supported. This could feel like being completely paralyzed and stuck, where you really can't move. You can't do anything. The energy of this week is bringing a deep feeling of lack of inspiration, of discipline. There could be crisis energy midweek. There could be laziness and lack of any discipline or structure. But knowing all this, it's completely up to us to work with the positive side of things and try to balance things with an abundance mindset. We are in the waxing phase of the moon and must put in an effort to grow the seeds of intention we planted with the new moon on the 16th. We just want to be careful not to believe everything that we see. Venus stations to go direct on the 3rd of September, which is the end of the following week, and we also have a full moon in Pisces on the 30th, which seems to be super interesting. So this all will be presented to you, that is Venus going direct, and we also have the full moon in Pisces. All that will be covered in the video for the next week, which is where I will meet you again. Thank you so much for being here with me and listening to me. I wish you all a feeling of a week full of abundance. Don't let that feeling of lack get to you. Just work on your mindset. And the moon is waxing, so it's growing bigger. So work on your goals with pure intentions, with what you actually want for yourself. Believe in yourself and your self-worth. Thank you again. You take care of yourself, and bye for now.